Thank you for having me first. My name is Mikey, and I'm the vocals in Islander, and we've been together since like 2011. And as far as like what we're about basically just letting people know that we can get along and talk about the difficult issues and just have fun, and spreading a positive message and all that kind of stuff. And it doesn't have to be this super crazy hard thing to discuss deep things or things that are what we call difficult situations or whatever in life and whatnot, because in this band there's people of different beliefs, and we don't all believe the same things, and it's definitely the kind of thing where we want people to know that it's kind of like being friends, and we're in a swimming pool together. So when we're on stage, it's like you're in a swimming pool with your friends, and just because we believe differently doesn't mean we can't go swimming together. So why can't we play music together? And I think sometimes people take a vocalist or a frontman and they apply those beliefs to the entire band, when that's not the case for any band. There's no band, even if you have some of the same beliefs or anything like that, nobody's going to see eye to eye on everything. And I think that a lot of times people forget that there's individuals. For us, there's 4 individuals in this band, and nobody's we're just trying to search for truth together, and have fun doing it, have fun playing music, and not take ourselves so seriously.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because myself, for a while, and probably some other people have considered you guys a Christian band, based off the lyrics and just some of the background and everything. But I guess that's not always the case. When you have, just because you hear like possible Christian lyrics doesn't mean the whole band is particular of that same belief system and everything. They might have a different belief or no belief at all. So
right, that's the kind of thing too. It's the same for like for me, that's my worldview. Like I have faith in Christ, so my worldview is completely covered in all of that. And so it's like no matter what I'm doing, even if I'm not playing music, it's going to come through in my life. And not perfect, mess up all the time, but it's definitely something that it's just going to come through in everything. So it's like bands like even like Korn or something like that. Like, well, then you have it's kind of reverse. There's members of the band that are Christians and they're not the singer, and the singer believes something different, and that's applied to them. So it's just I don't know. I just hope we can kind of come to a place where everybody knows, look at an individual for who they are rather than
exactly. Yeah.
Speaking
of Islander, how did the name come about anyway? It's kind of like a unique game. I mean, there's the hockey team, Islanders and all that. So how was it one of those things where there's a meaning or story behind it, or is it just one of those, hey, we saw this name, thought of it, thought it was cool, so we decided to pick this one?
We wanted a one-word band name because we didn't want people to abbreviate it, and who knows, that probably will happen. But people, you can't decide what people do with you, or whatever. But so we were trying to think of something, and we couldn't really figure anything out that wasn't taken or whatnot. And one night Andrew was playing some guitar at his house or something like that, as far as I understand how the story goes, and he saw a beer koozie sitting next to him that it was for an Islander IPA, and he was like, how do you guys feel about just calling it Islander? And we were like, cool. Like,
I guess technically you're named after beer then, pretty much.
Yeah, I guess. But at the same time, what's the beer named after? You gotta find the root.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean anything. We kind of came to the conclusion that every band name's dumb.
Yeah.
Like a lot of our favorite bands, when you really just think about it, if they weren't the awesome band that they are, no name, like, you know what I mean? Like, even like a band, like, imagine like a high school talent show band, and they're like, we're the Red Hot Chili Peppers. But see, it's like you can't even picture it in your head, because when you hear that name, you're like, oh, dude, Red Hot Chili Peppers,
or Red Jumpsuit Apparatus,
anything. It's like, dude, if the band's dope, you look at the name and you're like, dude, they're awesome. That's their cool band. So
speaking of the beer koozie, one of the things I was going to talk about later on is kind of like joking around about with the Coconut Dracula name. I saw some guy talking about it on I forgot what website, but he said, I don't know what a Coconut Dracula is, but if it's a drink, I'd love to try one. So I mean, you could have a brand right there going for you.
Oh man.
So Violence and Destruction is the second release for Victory. You guys put out Pains last year. Was the writing process or recording process going into this different or similar? Because from my understanding, like when y'all did Pains, y'all weren't writing it, y'all weren't where y'all getting ready to get signed to Victory. So obviously knowing you're already on the label, writing this full length, was there a different kind of atmosphere in terms of writing or a different process to it?
I think there was some pressure because none of us have ever put out a full-length album before. So going into it, we're like, man, like, we're putting out a record that's going to be in stores. It's a full-length. It needs to be cohesive with itself and actually, I don't know, flow and all that stuff. And we were writing, and honestly, I didn't really... Something in me doesn't click until I'm told I have a deadline. I don't know what it is because I can sit there all day. Some people think that it's like, nah, you're just not taking enough time with it or something. But it's the kind of thing for me, I can take days and days and just sit with a computer screen for hours or something trying to come up with lyrics. But when I'm put in the moment where I'm like, dude, I have this many weeks to do this.
Yeah.
For some reason, like, dude, I don't know what it is. It flows out. I hope that doesn't stop someday.
Yeah.
It just, but when I got in there, a lot of the lyrics were written in pre-production when I was just kind of like babbling into a microphone to kind of see if like playing with the melodies and whatnot while we were writing. So I was doing stuff, and I'd hear that on the demos we were recording, and I'd listen to them. We were staying at the house in California that we lived at, and I would just kind of find certain pieces that I liked, and then dude, really, I was listening to a lot of like really beautiful music, watching documentaries while listening to our music with like the documentary muted, reading the scriptures, just all that stuff, just praying to God for inspiration. Really,
I would say like songs like Kingdom and New Wave, it's got like a really chill vibe to it. Even the Sadness of the Graves a little bit, it's got like a very chill like sound to it. So the whole documentary, inspirational kind of thing, you can hear that come through the album.
Yeah, it's the thing, like Kingdom was kind of a different thing. I wrote that at home. It's funny. I don't know if I should say this on radio or not, or on interview. Anyway, I guess I'll just say it because it's the truth. I was in the bathroom with an acoustic guitar, and I actually wrote that song while I was using the bathroom.
I'm sure you're not the first one who's come up with the songs or anything like that.
They say it's a great place to read.
It really is. Like, you
why not take your acoustic guitar? But yeah, Kingdom was actually, it was kind of like that. And we went to the studio. Of course, I always joke around because I'm not like a good guitar player or anything like that. And I always joke around and say that Andrew, our guitarist, he can kind of take stuff and Febreze it. Yeah. So it was like I wrote the song, but
in the bathroom, and he Febreze
it. Oh, dude! Hey, full circle.
Yeah, there you go. Speaking of Kingdoms, was there any kind of connection between all the songs? Because there is a part where the "Look at the Beautiful Buildings" is repeated in that song, and kind of like in the background and stuff. Is there like a recurring theme, throughout this? I mean, violence and destruction. Is there like a overall theme where the songs are all related, or are they their own little separate stories underneath the whole, theme of violence and destruction as a whole?
It's a concept album.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm glad you picked up on that. It's that happens a lot. That the album starts dealing with the topic of love, and it starts talking about. If you even notice, I pulled from our former stuff. A lot of people don't know about this. I'm trying to kind of connect everything on that album. So there's a song called Pains. Mm-hmm. So you have Pains EP. And then there's Side Effects of Youth EP, which was our independent release before we got on Victory. And then there's a song called Side Effects of Youth. So it all kind of linked together even further back than that. But I was reading in the scriptures in the book of Jeremiah, and Jeremiah states that every time he opens his mouth, the words burst out, violence and destruction. Basically, he's warning all these people, and he said he's sharing Christ with people. Mm-hmm. And he said because of his sharing Christ, he's become a household joke. And he said, but if I don't speak about Christ and shout violence and destruction and just let everybody know what's going on in the world, it burns in my bones like fire, and I can't hold it in. So he said, I must speak about him. Okay. So that's where violence and destruction, when it's like rise up and speak violence and destruction, the whole thing is talking about, it's actually speaking love. Because if we're honest with people, instead of
sugarcoating,
Febrezing things,
like,
and if we don't go around and say like, man, just like love, it's like, well, let's talk about what love is. And like, I'm a big fan of like new wave music, like Joy Division and stuff like that. So that's where lyrics like in one part it says, love will tear you apart, because they had a song, love will tear us apart. But love, the Bible says God is love, and that song kind of deals with all this stuff people are going through, and just looking at this world and how it's dying, and all of a sudden it's like, dude, like, God tears us apart to put us back together.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like love will tear you apart. Like I remember when I first accepted Christ, and it's still going on to this day. There's things being ripped out of me, and there's all this pain that happens from it, and all this junk, because it's like he's gutting a pumpkin. You know, it's like taking all the guts out.
Yeah.
And it's like he's gonna put that light in there, and it's kind of like, dude, it's gonna be some pain if it had some nerves. Imagine a pumpkin with some nerves. It'll make that face by itself. You don't have to carve one.
Yeah.
So it's the kind of thing where
it's kind of cool concept to think about.
Yeah. So it's like you take all that, and then like the song "Cold Speak," it talks about say what you mean, but always love.
I was thinking about that a while ago when you were talking about how you guys have different beliefs and stuff, but you guys are just preaching, love, just you love people and stuff.
Yeah, it's that kind of thing. We all agree on, spreading positive vibes and whatnot, but I definitely want it to be more of an honest thing than rather just be like, like the hippie, like positive movement, man. It's like, dude, like it's not like, things aren't like that.
Yeah.
It's the kind of thing where, dude, you know what love is? Love is when your parents say, don't go out tonight, I don't want you to get hurt. Because they care about you. I'm not talking about some overbearing parents that's like, you can't do. I'm just talking about there's things that sometimes we call, like frustrations or whatever, or even in my own marriage or something. There's things that we've gone through that have been frustrating, but we're committed to love. So the commitment to love doesn't necessarily call for all these happy feelings.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
it's a lot deeper than the warm and fuzzies and honeymoon phase and all that.
Yeah. So it's definitely the kind of thing where I think I'm talking more about that kind of love, because somebody I recently met, his name's Andy Mineo. He's a rapper. I met him on tour.
I'm familiar with him. Yeah.
He has a lyric that says, "My God is good," or my God's good, but he's not safe. Because it's the kind of thing where it's like, dude, if you're looking for a safe, fluffy cloud to walk on, look at this earth, dude. Because in the scriptures, everybody that believed in Christ were murdered for it.
Yeah.
So.
And it's a whole concept record, and I remember you talking about, the whole story of the coconut Dracula thing, the funny story behind that. So is that kind of like a one-off song you guys have, or is that somehow, because it is a story about how I believe you said a mummy's, Dracula's turned good. He's become, a good vampire, I guess. And the mummy's, wanting to gain from that too. So does that kind of tie in the whole love theme and stuff?
Yeah, it does. But it's the kind of thing where, like my uncle Ray, he was speaking Spanish one night. We're Hispanic, and he was saying something, and it sounded like he said Coconut Dracula, but he didn't. I can't remember what he said, but I was like, I'm gonna write a song called that. And it came up with this idea of Coconut Dracula, or Count Dracula rather, finding a coconut on the ground. He bites into it, and he discovers that there's more sweetness in the world and joy than being evil all the time. And he gets his name legally changed from Count Dracula to Coconut Dracula. He's roommates with a witch, a werewolf, Frankenstein, and a mummy. And the song's through the mummy's eyes. And the mummy represents someone who's dead and covered in dirty rags, like I believe that we all are at one point in our lives. And he's basically just watching Dracula's life change before his eyes. Dracula's still a monster. He's still roommates with them. He's still hanging out with them. He's still got his fangs, but he's no longer out for the same things. So now he's actually becoming who he was supposed to be this whole time. And
if you really think about it, kind of like, speaking of the scriptures, it kind of talks about kind of like Paul on the road to Damascus, like killing Christians,
the coconut represents salvation.
Exactly. He gets converted, then he becomes the opposite of what he was.
Exactly.
And stuff.
And the mommy's sitting here looking at him, and he's like, you know what? I don't know what it is that's going on with all this, but you're still like, you're just chilling with us or whatever. I don't understand what you have, but I need that. Whatever it is, I'm dead. Look at me, I'm dead. And you're over here like, you're not the same Dracula anymore. You're not out like killing people and doing all this crazy stuff. So it actually deals with violence and destruction and the fact of he found what stops violence and destruction.
Awesome.
So that's
the deeper meaning right there.
The whole record's pretty deep. It gets pretty crazy.
So real quick, how did that go along becoming the lead single? And based off, what I've seen on the social media networks and stuff, it seems like everybody's liking Criminals. How's that looking as a possible, second music video, radio type track? For those that don't know, it features a Sonny from POD in it, so it's a pretty killer track.
Thank you. Coconut came along as a single because it was something we all believed in as far as we love our music, so anything we released were like cool, but that song had a very catchy vibe to it. We felt like it was something people could relate to. Everybody, even if they don't know the story of the Coconut Dracula, they have somebody that they can look at in life and go, you know what, like, you inspire me. And that's another way you can really look at all that. And it's it got chosen just because it was a great song. We really like that song. And there's more great songs on the record. We wish we could choose them all. The next single is New Wave. We already shot a video
awesome!
for it.
That's one of my favorite tracks, actually.
Yeah, dude. So we're releasing New Wave. We've done a video for that. And Criminals. I don't know what's gonna happen yet with everything, but we're working on something with that right now.
Okay, that sounds pretty sick. Speaking of secret stuff, this is like one of the other things I want to hit on. You guys went to the APMAs and hung out with a bunch of people and stuff. Whether you met them there or not, I understand there's announcements for everything. You can't talk about anything, but is there anybody big time that you guys happen to connect with at the APMAs that we might see you guys tour with in the future, either the next year or a few months or 2 year?
Maybe not the APMAs, but maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, you can't really, there's something you can't talk about, but
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I don't know what the next year holds. There's a lot of talks going on right now. Everything's kind of up in the air as far as, we have a clean slate as far as next year goes, and they're gonna fill it up.
Okay, I hope so. That sounds awesome. And speaking of the bigger bands and stuff, is there anybody, with the exception of Korn and POD, you guys are pretty good friends with those guys. Is there anybody that you've looked up to, whether it be an athlete, actor, another artist that's happened to catch you guys, talk to you guys, or promote you guys, or just say, hey, I dig, we like you guys, and it just kind of just like blew you away, kind of like, whoa, this person has this huge influence, just liked our band that's still kind of climbing the ranks a little bit.
Yeah, actually this week, it's kind of funny you asked that. This week got online, and Jacoby Shaddix from Papa Roach had messaged me, and he told us how much he liked the record. I think he got it. He's been listening to it. He said that the whole band's really digging it, and he liked us on Facebook, and then he posted about us and all this stuff, and we've been actually keeping in contact all this week. So Jacoby's been showing us a lot of love.
Papa Roach Islander tour, maybe?
You didn't hear it from me. We'll see.
Okay, okay. You guys heard it. We will see.
We will see.
All right. Well, is there anything else you want to talk about or hit on real quick before we wrap it up?
I think I'm good, man. Anything else you got?
Like I said, my questions are kind of on my phone, which are dead right now, so I'm kind of playing it off the top of my head. So
anything else? I'm here.
Yeah, I think that's all I got for right now. So I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me.
And if you guys don't know, Violence and Destruction's out now. You can pick it up at Best Buy, FYE, iTunes, all your outlets.
The shows.
Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you.